The ancient city is calling. Oh, arise, sons and daughters of the land. The king of the city is marching. Stand up high to the pride of the land. The founding fathers of labor, and our time to serve is now. The glory of the new Lego nation will forever be our pride. Beautiful and glorious and you're the heartbeat of Nigeria. Beautiful and glorious and stars are singing over you. You're the land people dream to be. Our treasures are found in all nations, and our greatness is second to none. Our history forever shall be written, how our kings have endured all times. A people cultured in unity, our hearts beat for the land. Rich culture, stories of heroes, legacies forever be. Beautiful and glorious and you're the heartbeat of Nigeria. Beautiful and glorious and stars are singing over you. You're the land people dream to be. Unite and stand with each other. Forgive and let it go. Together we can stand, come what may, and the future lies in us. Teach our children to teach their children what our fathers taught. To fear and love the Creator, only then shall we succeed. Beautiful and glorious and you're the heartbeat of Nigeria. Beautiful and glorious and stars are singing over you. You're the land people dream to be. The ancient city is calling. Oh, arise, sons and daughters of the land. The king of the city is marching. Stand up high to the pride of the land. The founding fathers have labored, and our time to serve is now. The glory of the new Edo nation will forever be our pride. Beautiful Edo, glorious.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Uh, Greetings from my side, and greeting from the Benin Empire Advancement League, the home of all the Benins, and the defenders of the Benin Empires, and the defenders of the palace and the tradition of the Benins. Yeah, it's almost a week here. We came out, or I came out to talk about the Benin Royal Museum. Uh, yes, and since then there has been a lot of feedback. There has been a lot of developments, and some of them are good developments, and some of them are very, very bad. Say the fact. Uh, let's just take a look at what is going on and why they are going on the way they are going on. Uh, I, as I can recollect, a few years ago in my former organization, we were also talking about the Benin artifacts, the repatriation of the Benin artifacts, and the importance. to the Benin's, because many people just believe these artifacts are just mere uh, handwork and sculpture or whatever they may try to call it now. Uh, to my own knowledge, and to those people who respect our tradition, who know little bit about our history, they will tell you, or they will make you to understand the importance of these artifacts. Why also these artifacts should come, and why they should be directed to the right hand, to the rightful owners of those artifacts. Yeah, I don't know if many of you know how this whole issue started. The whole issue started when the First World War, what we call the First World War, not what the Westerners are calling the First World War. The First World War, which the British initiated against the Benin Empire. Uh, in the First World War, it's just like a coalition of the Williams, of the robberies. Let me coalition of the robberies, because the Western Europeans that time was engaged in robbery, slavery, and so many other things. Uh, the Benin Empire was the last empire that was remaining in the whole of West Africa. Some of our brothers, black brothers, we are now living together as Nigeria, uh, didn't even fire a shot, or the British didn't even fire a shot before these people was captured. When I'm talking about the Igbos, the Yorubas, and the Hausa resisted a little bit, but not enough, and they submitted also to the British. We, the Benin, or from the Benin Empire, or those from the Benin Empire, those days, they know whom they were, on whom they are. That was why, or the reason, our Omanoba of that time, the Oba Ovurame, Nogbesi, tried to protect the Benin Empire from the British. But before then, there was a lot of issue, because the British and the other European countries like France, German, the Netherlands, the in Canadians and others, or the Portuguese, we are already coming to Africa, or this people from Spain, we are already coming to Africa to take our brothers and sisters as slaves. When they took our brothers, or captured our brothers and sisters as slaves, taking them most of the time through Ghana, through Senegal to Europe, they will come to Europe and told their people that these people were sold, or being sold to the Europeans. Yes, they were among these people. There were lots that were sold, but many of them were not also sold. We have to say the truth. Let me say half of these people were sold, and the remaining ones were not sold. The Benin Empire, as of that time, were not involved in any kind of slavery, selling of slaves or human beings, because we believe human beings as his creature, or as is created, is a free soul that is not needed to be sold or needed to be enslaved. But some of our brothers who were also with us, or very close to us that period, like the Yorubas, the Ijo people, and the Igbos, and the Hausas, who were fully engaged in slavery, they didn't make good for the Benin Empire, because it's like the Benin Empire is stopping them from making their gains from their trade, from their slave trade with the Europeans and others. The Benin was then, for the British, for the Germans, and the other countries, a very, very big problem. it was just like what happened in Iraq, because they wanted to take us out, and they started uh, little by little by taking over some part of the Benin Empire. They started maybe from Ghana, they drove through Togo to all these places, to Lagos, you know. They were taking it step after step. But our forefathers didn't do this, but the British and the other Westerners, they were so mighty for us because of their weapon. We couldn't resist their attempt to take over the Benin Empire. Till this very day, the British invaded the Benin Empire, killed our brothers, our sisters, burned down the city, because the Benin city of that time was a very, very large city, even bigger than Lisbon, London, and so many other things. Can you imagine? The dehumanizing of our people that period was so brutal. Our women was raped. Even years after, they were still hunting on the people, the pockets of resistance that said, no, this shouldn't happen to us. You know? But people never really understand what was going on that period, because there was also people who collaborated with the British and other Westerners to do this to us, and these are our people. Uh, the British, uh, after the invasion, or that very day, the invasion, uh, practically the operation ended. Every looted Benin artifact from the Oba Palace, from Benin City, was taken over to Britain. From there, it was now sold and divided, or even divided, to some of the countries that were involved in the invasion. Somewhere like France, Germany, and uh, and so many other countries. And then many of them were also sold out to so many other countries, to some private individuals and others. And yes, immediately after the whole thing happened, uh, our Obas, or Dama, the Obas of Benin, uh, Voramen, also make it clear to the Britain that all this looted and the killing were inhuman. What they did to the Benin's were inhuman, and they wanted pay for their crime, or for their inhuman activities against the Benin. But they couldn't believe it, that this will happen. And then one day, all these artifacts will be returned to their own, the owners. Yes, since then, a lot has been going on. After the independence of Nigeria, uh, the Benin Empire started a move, or the Oba of that time started a move to return all these artifacts. The movement to return all these artifacts didn't started yesterday. Didn't started with EMOWWA. It started the movement and has been going on, of which the British has been refusing, or the European government, most of them, the European government, the American government, the Canadian government. And can you imagine, the Benin artifacts are found today in more than 120 museums worldwide. To make people to understand where this issue is going to. And our Obas, one after the other, as they come and as they join our ancestors, they continue to fight to make sure all these artifacts are being repatriated to where it was taken. Every effort sometimes yields some success, but sometimes not. There was no success. Till I think about 12 years ago or something like that, they started again. Let me see if I can find a notice. I think 2007, the initiation also started. The whole thing started again because we want to bring everything uh, to the front of the people who is supporting the MUESEUM for them to understand what is going on. In 2007, the negotiation also started, and even the people who were involved in these negotiations, they will tell you the whole truth of the matter. If you have been asked today, they will come forward to tell you why they are so surprised that EMOWWA is now coming up. Even our present governor was also involved in some of this negotiation. There was nothing of such like EMOWWA. People should understand why there's the difference between us, the palace, and the Edo state government is going on in this way or in this form. Because many people will now say, oh, the governor is just trying to do the best thing for the Benin city or for the Benin. No, not exactly. And people must also understand, those who love their tradition, that Upper of Benin is for us as God's representatives on earth. Anybody that contested with the Upper of Benin will fall. Any government of today is a period. It's just a time, 4 years, 8 years. But our Upper of Benin is forever and ever until he join his ancestors. And Oba of Benin is not elected. Oba of Benin is born a king to ascend the throne of his forefathers. It's not like so many of the kings we are having in Nigeria today. The Benin monarchy is so unique, even more than that of the British we are talking about. And in the whole world, it's only few that can compare themselves with the Benin monarchy. So in 2010, there was also some negotiation, and there was a heavy negotiation. There was some agreement to return some of these artifacts uh, to Benin, to the Omonoba Palace, which I believe everyone who took part in those negotiations agreed upon. And although there was no information that was coming out to the public that period, but we knew there was a secret negotiation going on because some of our fathers, they were in Germany to negotiate, they were in Wien, they were in so many of the European countries and America and North America countries to negotiate for this the return of these artifacts, and also to build a museum, the Benin Royal Museum in, in Edo State. But as people used to say, betrayers are betrayers, demons are demons. I'm not trying to call anybody a betrayer or a demon, but when you act like a betrayer, then you are a betrayer. When you act like a demon, and you are a demon. So, for us to understand, because everything was agreed upon with the Edo State government to build the Benin Royal Museum, where all these artifacts will be kept, where our people will be coming and study these artifacts, to exploit them, to know why our forefathers did what they did. Because these artifacts are not just mere artifacts; they were being uh, done for us, the new generation, for us to know our history, for us to know our past, the system of education we have in that period, how everything was done, and the hierarchy of the system of the Benin Empire. was also there. And this is very, very important. And for us, the new generation, I believe we have a lot to learn. And when we learn uh, and when we go into details of these artifacts, their meanings, I believe many of us will not understand, and we will be taking part in so many of our our traditional issues, as it is not today, because a lot of misidentities has create a vacuum in the Benin tradition, where our people are now lost. I can say lost to Christianity and as to Muslim, or to Muslim religion, because that period before the British came to Benin to invade Benin, the Benin already have all these things. They already have their religion, they already have their education, they already have their so many institutions, the government that was guiding the Benin, the laws. The Benin, the civilization didn't start with the British in Benin. The British brought us back to zero, where we were before, because they know exactly when all this artifact is stolen, our history is stolen, our history is forbidden in school, our language is forbidden in schools, then we are lost. And that's what they did to us. And we the Benin, we should commend the efforts of our past Obas and the present Oba for what they have been doing to restore the institution of Benin. Because when I look at everything that has been happening after the invasion and after Oba Vorame was taken to Calabar and the empty period that was there, it was enough time for the British to really embrace the Benin history from the earth's surface. But the God of our forefather, the God of our forefathers never failed. Because when I used to say this, we are just like seeds. When you throw it away, you think everything ended, but they will come back. When the rain falls, they will start regenerating and grow and produce more and more. And more of us is here today. And more of us can recognize ourselves as Benin or Edo or Isan or Urobo or Itzako or Ika or other tribes because of the good job our forefathers has been doing, our past Obas and the present Oba has been doing. Because that period, they were trying to reduce us to zero. But many of us today, we haven't really realized what was going on. Uh, or what is still going on today. Because when I look at our people shouting the name of Jesus, the name of, I'm not against any religion to say the fact, the name of Jesus, the name of Muhammad, Allah, this and that. Sometimes I wonder and I imagine, because we have been saying this for a very, very long time, and it didn't help us in any form, in any way. Rather, reducing our mentality, reducing our intelligence, allowing us to fall a victim to pastors, to imams, and others. The Benin tradition give every human being the human rights they deserved. We have been seen as human beings. But the Christian, the Muslim religion, dehumanize us. They dehumanize us in so many forms. I would not like to go into today because I don't want to offend our Muslim brothers and Christian brothers and sisters in different forms. You know? Let me just point so many of them. Just one or two of them. Let me put it that way. Our God, that we were serving or giving respect to that period, all of them were demonized. Our house of worship were demonized. Our institution was demonized. They find one way or the other to. There was a big lie that was even written in so many of their history books and others against the Beninese. They also demonized the Beninese that period. But we, or those who know more about the Beninese, the history keepers of the Beninese and others, they will not tell you that the traditional keepers of the Benin. And if you know about the Benin tradition very well, you will understand why we are fighting for what we are fighting for today. The Benin artifacts for the governor Obaseki is just a mere artifact. It's, for him, it's worthless to him. The legacy project he's talking about, or the legacy project or trust, because we know the meaning of trust. These are people who come together, business people, invest in some business and do the business, and yes, and others. The main issue of this, or the bone of contention, people should understand the people who is behind this legacy trust, the Ajaye, Associate, and the MUESEUM. These are the British Museum, people from the British government and the British Museum. Sorry. The British government, the British Museum, are using the Edo State government or the Edo State governor against the Oba Palace and against the Beninese. Many people will say, how? It's very, very simple. It's a simple question. The more the Oba of Benin and the government of Edo State, led by Governor Obaseki, has issued about the Benin artifacts, the more time the British has to start formulating other lies against the Beninese, and also buying time to find good reasons why they cannot return these artifacts. Because they will now say, oh, both of them are fighting, we won't return it because we doesn't even know the owner of the artifact. But we, the Beninese, we know the truth of the whole issue. The artifact was taken from the Benin Palace, from the Oba Palace. And as the custodian of the Benin Empire, it is the property of the Oba of Benin. And it should, with immediate effect, return to the Oba of Benin, all these artifacts. And the other argument of Obaseki was that they want to build a museum where everybody can be seeing it. Yes, if Obaseki is truthful to himself, the Benin monarch or the palace of the Oba of Benin never said they want to keep it for themselves. They said they want to build the Benin Royal Museum where all these artifacts will be kept, where our people will study all these artifacts, where every person who can afford it can go to the museum and view it and see how great our ancestors were. Why we must come back to where we started. But those people behind the Ajaye or whatever associate EMOWWA and the Legacy Trust Fund of Nigeria are trying to create a heavy commotion so that this artifact will not be returned to Nigeria. And this is the work of the British intelligence, the work of the British Museum to make sure nothing is being returned to the owner. Because this artifact worth billions of pounds. The British Museum every year, I can tell you, if they didn't make money from the Benin artifact, it will be about up to £10 billion a year. And the British government profit from all these billions from the taxes they are collecting from each of these artifacts. That is why it's difficult for the British to return these artifacts, because if they did, billions of pounds will be lost to the British government. And this could also lead to the collapse of the British financial system, because the Benin artifact is like the economic power of the British. Because the British, they don't have anything to be proud of, apart from this killing, this dehumanizing they have been doing since Britain was created. Everyone can go back to their history. Anywhere they go is killing, murdering, raping, and all that sort of things that is being involved. And it wonders me that a well-educated person like Obaseki we go into an agreement with these people when he know what they did to us. They didn't just not only invade Benin, they burned down the palace. The only thing they didn't burn down was these artifacts, because they know the worth, how important it was. They burned down the whole of Benin City, rape our women, kill our men, soldiers, and they stayed in Benin and they started hunting for the people who were defending Benin, like the Oloboseres and others. How can a person like Governor Obaseki close his eyes today and just go into an agreement with these people without even thinking of our forefathers? The pain they went through when the British invaded us. I hope Governor Obaseki or his people, media people, will listen to uh, this broadcast, because I'm going to share it with them for them to understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. It is an insult on every Benin citizen, on every Edo person, for Obaseki to go into any agreement with the British Museum, because what they did to us, till date, they never find any type of excuse or apology or any kind of restoration to restore the territory that was destroyed, that was taken. They did a lot of evil things to us. Destroyed the empire, burn down the state capital, rape our women, kill our men soldiers, divide our sorry, divide our territories among themselves to the other people. That today people are not just assuming those territories belong to all those people. The British, if they are human enough, they should have come up to say, okay, we did something wrong to you people. How can we do something good to make it a little bit easier for you people today? But they are not doing that. They are not even interested in doing that. But what they are interested in is using Obaseki and the Edo state government led by Obaseki to go against the Benin, to go against the palace, so that this artifact will not be returned. And not just only that, they are working day in and day out to convince other Western worlds not to return this artifact that was being stolen from Nigeria, because they know every much the amount they are collecting from our artifact. Only one piece of this artifact worth millions of pounds in any auction, because I've been following so many of the auctions the British Museum have been doing, another museum around the world have been doing. we see how much they pay for it. Only one piece of this artifact. There's no one of them which is under 10 million pounds. Can you imagine that? That could be a year budget of the Benin, of the Edo State government. Not to talk of every year what the British government and the British Museum is gaining from our artifacts. And through this, there's every opportunity, there's everything, they have to do everything to make sure the Benin artifacts are not returned back to the owner. But our obas, our forefathers, they never they never kept quiet. They will start talking and they will start doing everything possible to bring all these artifacts. And if you have a respect or one single respect or anything respect for our forefathers, please don't support EMOWWA. EMOWWA is totally, completely against Benin. Many people will say we don't have anything against EMOWWA or something like that. EMOWWA will also bring life to Benin. No. If you are coming with a clean heart to do something, I am not against it. If you are coming with a devilish mind to my own state, to my own country, to do something, then I have to go against it. Any Benin person, any Edo person with a sense of mind, with sense in his head, we have to reject EMOWWA. Because one way or the other, EMOWWA is going to collide with the Benin Royal Museum. There's going to be a war. If the war is not yet started, because what Obaseki and his co-host is having on their mind doesn't mean anything good for the Benin Empire. Imagine the work of my own forefathers or your own forefather that belongs to you. Somebody will just be planning behind you how to loot it and how to reuse it. The British, who is using the governor of Edo State today, it's like the governor of Edo State doesn't know what he's doing, because if he has enough brain, if he has enough brain to think, he should have realized what the British are trying to do to him. Because the British, they are not your friend, and they have never been our friend, and they will not be our friend. British have never be a friend of any country. And once they're in that country, they will reduce it to zero. They reduce us to zero, but we regenerate. And now we are demanding for what belongs to us and must be returned. But if Obaseki, as I said before, really respect the tradition of the Edo people, respect the royal palace, the royal court, the institution of the Benin, the tradition of the Benin, he will never or ever come up with such a project like EMOWWA, where he knows the Edos has nothing to profit. We have nothing to profit from it, because all this money that will be collected from this museum will not remain in Benin. They are going to Lagos, they are going to Abuja, they are going to Britain again, because the British, they are not giving these artifacts for free to the Edo State government. They are leasing it out to the Edo State government. They are borrowing it out, just borrow it to them. You know, any gain that come out of it will go back to Britain, and nothing will remain in Edo State. The only thing that will remain in Edo State are those people maybe who rent, who slept in the hotels. And I can assure you, our private individuals, they will only maybe 0.5% profit from this hotels where they will be sleeping, because the government is also going to come up with a plan to tell you these hotels are not accommodative enough. We need to build new ones that can accommodate the tourists and all that. And this contract will also be given to those people who owns these companies. That's what we should understand. Because if I am saying this now, people will not understand. Okay. For example, in Jamaica, when they were trying to start the tourist business, the government come up with a plan, you know, to say, okay, part of the beach need to be sold or need to be given to foreign investors. You know, the plan was very good, but people with good sense of mind will also tell them, look, if you do that, our people will not have access to all these beaches anymore. And yes, exactly, this is what happened. Today we have in the best tourist areas in Jamaica, you have almost 99% are foreign investors. Most of them are Chinese, Americans, Canadians, and some of Europeans like Germans and Austrians, France. Today, go to the beaches. If a Jamaican citizen cannot identify himself, he cannot go to that beaches. Even some of the beach are even close to Jamaicans with good reason, or the good reason they are saying that a lot of crime are being committed by the Jamaicans, this and that. And the Jamaicans who are working in those hotels and others, lodge and others, are so they are being paid like slave laborers. But people, some of the tourists with good hearts are those people that really these people who are working there. This same thing is going to happen in Benin if we allow EMOWWA to happen. EMOWWA will not have bring any benefit to the people of Benin. The benefit will go to the investors. But if the Benin Royal Museum is built, the money will remain in Benin. The hotels that is going to be housing the, the visitors that is going to be coming to Benin will be from the Benis. And the money that has been collected from there will also be reinvested in Benin. It will give Benis a chance also to earn money for themselves, to invest more in Benin City. We can use there's a huge things we can do in Benin this period. But some of the enemies of the Benin who doesn't understand this are just bringing EMOWWA and the legacy and the whatever they think. If you love the Edo people, if you respect the Benin tradition, if you respect the Benin institution, I think nobody will sign up with anything with EMOWWA, because the British are trying to reloot our artifact again. The one they just gave to us from private individuals will be relooted again and be given back to the British with the coalition of Obaseki and this trust management or whatever they call them, or foundation, because everybody knows the meaning of trust and foundation. Yeah, uh, the the question now is, where did the Edo stand? Why they are Edo so quiet? Why are they not going against all these issues? Because so many of us believe this is not issue enough for us to stand up for. I believe it's issue enough for us to stand up, because this is the property of our forefathers. This is the work of our forefathers. We doesn't have any British culture or any British art in Edo State that is being represented, but they have thousands. The estimate that the British was given or the British gave to us was 5,000, but we are estimating something going to a million. Because when we look at how the Benis are being represented in the whole museum in the world today, then you will know that it's going to a million. These are only those in the museum, not in the private museums owned by private individuals or in private houses. Those were not even counted or even added to it. So I am here today to call on the Edo people, especially. We should find it important enough to stand with the palace because this is our property, this is our heritage, this is our history, this is our chemistry, this is our physics, this is our mathematics, this is our socio-economic institution of Benin that is being attacked, that is being dragged to mud. We should find it important enough to stand up, to stand with the palace, to stand with the Benin people, to make sure to send a message to the governor of Edo State, led by Governor Obaseki, that enough is enough. Enough is enough disrespecting our tradition, our institution, our government, and everything that belongs to us. We can do that to demonstrate. I would have done that, but Britain is too far from me. I should have gone to the British palace to do that. I believe our people, we have enough people in Britain that can organize demonstration. Send a powerful message to the British government, to the British Museum, that these are our forefathers that has been taken hostage. The work of our forefathers, our property is being taken hostage. Upon all the bloodshed, upon all what they did to us, we never take any revenge against the British, but the British are still taking revenge against us upon all they did to us today. Can you imagine how demonizing is that? How dehumanizing the British are dehumanizing the Benis or the Edos? I believe every Edo citizen who have a common sense of thinking, should know in one way or the other want to relate himself with EMOWWA, because EMOWWA never has anything in common with Benin. Igbo man, the chairman, office in Lagos, although Lagos is a Benin territory, but not the capital. Everything that has to do with EMOWWA is outside the Edo state. All the people, all the Yorubas that is AJAYE associate are Yorubas. They are just repeating what they did to us again. Before, when the British invaded us, it was the Yoruba, the Ijaw, the Igbos, and some of the Hausas the British used as soldiers to destroy us that period. This is exactly this. They are repeating themselves. The Ajaye Associate are Yoruba's institutions. We know there are Yoruba organizations, companies, and others. And now the Legacy Trust of Nigeria, also 80% Yorubas employees. Did the governor has any sense of thinking? Please, the media people of the Edo State governors, the advisors of this Edo State governor, they should listen carefully to this video, because I am sending this message direct to you people, so that you can bring it to the governor. Because I believe the governor doesn't have any sense of thinking at this moment. Because if he didn't retreat, the God of our forefather is going to come after him. Because nobody content with Oba of Benin that go free. It will go down. It will go down in pain, go down like a redundant element. Because when I'm talking, people will say the history is repeating itself. History doesn't repeat itself. The human beings who know more about the histories, they repeat everything because of ignorance, because of lack of knowledge. I believe people didn't educate Governor Obaseki about the Benin Empire, about the Benin history, culture, and heritage. If he had something like that, he should have understood that the Beninese or people like me will not take it lightly with him because I am going to be coming out often to talk about EMOWWA, to talk about the defrauding company EMOWWA, the fraudster behind all this, and the ignorance of EMOWWA people, the governor of Edo State, Governor Obaseki, his advisor, and his supporters that is supporting him, that is giving him money to disorganize our tradition, to eliminate our tradition. We are going to defeat every one of them. EMOWWA is fraud. Any company that started in fraudulent way will not exist in our state. We should pray for that. EMOWWA is against the Benin. EMOWWA is against Edo. EMOWWA is against the institution of the Benin. EMOWWA is against the language of Edo or the language of the Beninese. EMOWWA means nothing good to the Beninese. We should all know that. EMOWWA is a fraud organized by Governor Obaseki, who is bringing foreign investors to reloot our artifacts. The British MI6, MI5, MI7, they are using Governor Obaseki to reloot our artifacts, to destabilize all the negotiations our traditional institutions have been going through to recover their artifacts, to bring them back home. They are now using Governor Obaseki and his co-host to destroy everything. Even now, as we are talking, the uh, Europeans museums are ganging up, led by the British Museum, not to bring back our artifacts. But the God of our forefathers, they are not sleeping. We are going to overcome all these things and we are going to recover all our artifacts back. Obaseki was yesterday because the governorship period, maybe you have more 2 years, maybe you have 1 month, 1 year, we don't know. But if you continue this way, you will only have a month because it's every power, every governmental power is a borrowed power. I don't know if you understand what happened to the Sri Lankan government, the government of Tunisia, former government of Tunisia, the former government of Egypt, and so many other governments who believed they were so intelligent, they were so wicked against their people. And this is what is going on in your government. Many people are saying you are doing things in Benin or doing some projects in Benin. This is what you are doing, this and that. But we have to ask you so many questions. How many people have you employed in your government period? Because building and building where there's no employment is like investing in a place where you never get any commission back. The Benin people is pleading with Mr. Obaseki, with Governor Obaseki, to please move EMOWWA to Abuja. If he's really interested in doing business, he should go with these people. Let them do their own in their own state. Because the fraud, EMOWWA, the fraud project, EMOWWA, sponsored by the British government, sponsored by the British Museum, sponsored by some Western governments, shouldn't happen in our state. We should not allow ourselves to be a victim again to the British with the help of Obaseki. I'm not talking to the whole of Obaseki family, but I'm talking to one particular person. That is the Governor Obaseki. The Benin invasion is long over. All this issue is forgotten. What your forefather did and others. We never take any revenge. And we will never take any revenge. But please allow us to have a rest of mind. Allow the Benins to collect what belongs to the Benis. Allow the Oba of Benin to collect what belongs to him. And please never use your governorship power to oppress our fathers, to oppress the institution of Benin, because we will never forgive you if you do that. The end will never be good for you. Please don't misunderstand this as a threat, but that is going to be the result. The end will not be good in any form if you continue to suppress the institution of our Benin tradition, the Benin heritage, the Benin chieftaincy tradition, because so many of us who believe in the Benin tradition, we are seeing the Oba of Benin as our father, as the biggest and the tallest tree in the forest, which gives shade to the others to grow. Because in the forest you see so many trees, they provide shades for the other smaller trees to grow and grow again. That is why you see the Benin very peaceful, was very peaceful before you come into power. Before you come into power, and everything went wrong. I am here today to call on Edo's sons and daughters to please stand with the palace, because the palace is the shade that cover every one of us. Is the Oba of Benin, is the father of all the Benins. We worship and give thanks to you because we know how you stand for the Benis. Oba GHATOR Orik Benimaya, ISEE Edogama Orimani Maya, no mane Iviedohia, no mane Imo Ame. Keke Ivima no Wekoe, no Vede Bidi, Onimaya Minache. What we are doing today is not just doing it for ourselves. We are also doing it for our children, our children's children to come. I'm very sorry for the noise because there's a concert going on my left side. People are rocking over there, but I believe before they start fully, I have to do this live show because it will not be able to happen later in the day. And that's why I'm doing this. Please forgive me for the noise. And I hope everyone bear with me and everyone will come up with solution, because we have to find solution to all this problem that we are facing in Edo State, and especially the security issues. the issue of EMOWWA should be eliminated from our state, because this is a fraudulent organization of the British and some Yorubas, some Igbos, some people who are only interested in money, not interested in our people. We should reject them. I have something against EMOWWA, and all the Benin should do exactly the same thing. Many people, I explained this before, many people think EMOWWA will bring something to Benin. It will not bring anything to Benin, because this money, as they come in, they are going back to London. They are going back to the British Empire, because all this money, all the artifacts that will be returned will be held in EMOWWA, and all the entrance payments that have been paid, all of them are going to be taken to Britain. Nothing will remain in Edo State. They are going to build a hotel in Edo State where their guests are being quartered, and no Edo person will profit from this. So please, let us stand with the palace. Let us stand with the Edo people. EMOWWA is a fraud. That it shouldn't happen in our state. So thank you very much. And I appreciate everyone that stands with me in this period. And we should be standing up for the palace, because this is our background, this is our history, our knowledge. The work of our forefathers should not be destroyed by set of people. So thanks, and see you tomorrow, or see you next time. And I hope you people stay healthy, and that you can join me in the next show. So thank you, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Ancient city is calling. Oh, arise, sons and daughters of the land. The king of the city is marching. Stand up high to the pride of the land. The founding fathers have labored, and our time to serve is now. The glory of the new head on